Hi everybody, this is Mike Hamilton from TradeEasyway.com. Time to look at the markets here on Sunday the 21st of November for the week ahead. Before I forget, don't forget Thursday the 25th is Thanksgiving Day when the US are not around on their trading desks, so please bear that in mind. Dollar index, daily on the left, weekly on the right, really stuck here between the 50 MA and the 8 on the daily. Open and closed above the 8 on the weekly after this reversal bar down here, but tough call. I guess the fact of open and closed below the 50, you'd have to call this weak and look for this to continue to the downside. So if we break down below 78.27, expect weakness, and so expect to see some longs on the dollar pairs and some longs on the currencies and the equities. But if we close back up against up above 78.9, then obviously the reverse is going to be true. So it's all down to if we can continue the down move on this dollar daily index. Nasdaq, however, has given us a big buyer's bar on Thursday, hesitant bar on options day on Friday, so options hesitancy is nothing unusual. So my bias is to the upside based on, if we can see the continuation of the down move, or certainly sideways action in the dollar under that 50 MA, then I'd expect these equity markets to be bought and continue to move the upside. On the weekly, we've just had a pullback to the 8, that's all that's happened. So if we can break above 21.37 on the Nasdaq and above here, 21.48 on the daily, then I think we are going to stay in this up move. I basically think this market's got one last leg up before it hits problems. I think we've had two waves to the upside after didn't even retest the 50 MA. I think we've got one last leg in this market, so looking for the upside here at the moment, unless we get a breakdown here below the 20 on Monday, Tuesday. Gold, hesitancy as with the dollar and the equity markets. We are below the 8 and 20 on the daily, although we have come off the 50 on moving average on the daily. The weekly had a reversal bar with RSI, so it had a clear selling signal on the weekly. So if you were to trade that on the weekly, you would have been looking to the short side last week. But we've held the 8 EMA. So the fact we've held the 8 EMA means that if this daily can get above these 8 and the 20, 1361, I would look for longs. If we continue to move down here and get below the 50, I would then start to look for shorts. So I want a confirmation of a breakout above this area here, 1362, before I go long the gold. Oil, all the time oil is stuck in this area here. I'm not even going to day trade it, and until we get a move above this 50 MA, let's mark this up. So last 3 days have been stuck in a box. Until we get the move above this trend line and this box at 83.20, I'm not going to go long. If we get a breakdown below 80.60, I will take a short. So we're hesitant, just as we're hesitant in the dollar. But if the equity markets can hold up, then I expect the oil to follow the equity markets and break up through this trend line resistance. At that stage, I would look to get swing long. This is one of the few markets that appears to have any sort of clean setup. This is natural gas. We have a 50 MA break and a trend line break here. So it's a wedge breakout, a pullback to 4.10. You can trade this on the charts in the IG if you want to trade this. The weekly is still not great though. It's got a lot of resistance up here at 4.38, but the daily is a nice wedge breakout. I do like charts that break 50 MA, fail and come back. So we've shaken out weak hands, put in a higher low, so expecting the gas to attempt to get back to 4.8. and 5 is the 50 EMA on the weekly. Forex, really can't find a setup at all on Forex at the moment. This is the Aussie dollar CAD, lovely channel to the upside. If we break 0.99, I would take a short, otherwise just going to leave this one aside. Aussie dollar US is in a channel, closed just below the 8 and 20, so not touching it until we get the decision either way. Euro US, no trade here for me. It's got a lot of resistance with 20 above here. It's open and closed above the 50 EMA, so I do think if we move above intraday, if I saw some 50 EMA breaks on the 60 minutes, I would trade it back up to, on a break of 136.71. But we've got a lot of resistance at 137.55, so unless we get a close above here, not interested. Swissy yen, it's actually closed above all the moving averages, but it's got massive resistance ahead of it, so just leaving it. If it did reverse and move to the downside, I would consider it if the risk-reward ratio was good for the downside, but otherwise leaving it. This euro pound is trying to get, it's got a massive area of congestion up there. If we get above 86, I will consider a long, particularly back up to this area up here, but otherwise leaving it. So really nothing to look at on these currencies. US dollar yen had a good 50 EMA break 4 days back, but 20 EMA is coming through the daily. RSI is quite high, but there's certainly no entry down here. There was an entry on the 16th. US dollar Swissy trapped made resistance just with at just below parity. So not even if it breaks up through here, I wouldn't trade it because of the limited risk-reward ratio. US dollar CAD, still long this one just, but we're right on trendline support and we're below the 50 EMA, so expected to get stopped out on this. If it breaks down here to the short side, I still wouldn't take it because of limited risk-reward ratio. This is one I am interested in if it can get above this resistance here at 163.13. This is the pound Aussie dollar. Called along up here, which basically failed and has drifted down here at the moment. We are holding the 8 and the 20, so if you are still long this, hold on. But I wouldn't start to initiate any new longs until we get a break up through this trendline resistance. This is probably the best looking chart, but only if we can get a long setup up here. Otherwise I'm not trading it, and that's the pound Aussie dollar. Pound CAD is just stuck in a box. That's one big box. When it does eventually break, it'll be quite good, but in the meantime, range bound. Pound yen, stuck in a box. A little peek above the box here, otherwise a box that goes right back towards the end of April. Finally, pound versus the US dollar. We're at the apex of a wedge here, just below it. If the dollar can move to the downside, then it breaks to the upside here, then obviously the next port of call is going to retest to 163. But at the face of it, my bias is the short side based on the close below the 8 and the 20. 8 and the 20 does appear to be about to cross the downside. We are just below the trend line support, but even if we break the 50 EMA, the risk-reward ratio is very poor for a swing trade. So these currencies are just not setting up. The only one that is close to a setup is the pound Aussie dollar if it breaks the long side. If any of this changes, obviously I'll try and keep you posted, but in the meantime, no trades on the Forex. We looked at, and finally, just to finish this, AINV, that's AIN for Norman, V for Victor, Nasdaq stock, closed above all the moving averages here, nice on the weekly. If I can get a pull back to the 8 at 10.69, I would try and trade this up to 11.5. That's all. I hope that helps. Email with any questions and see you soon. Forex course is on December the 7th, if you're interested, let me know.